Today I'm going to speak about why mental health days should count as excused absences. This is my audience. And here we go. Imagine waking up with your heart racing, your stomach knotted, and your mind overwhelmed, and not because you're sick with the flu, but because the stress feels like a heavy backpack filled with bricks strapped onto your chest, weighing you down before the day even begins. For millions of students, this is a normal school morning. My goal is to convince my audience that schools need to accept mental health days as real and valid reasons for students to miss school. These days should count the same as excused absences for physical sickness because mental health is just as important as physical health. I feel confident speaking about this topic because I have seen many classmates quietly struggle with stress, anxiety, and emotional pressure just as much as myself. I also researched several reliable academic studies about youth mental health, which helped me understand how serious and widespread this problem is for students today. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, found that more than 42% of high school students reported feeling sad or hopeless on a regular basis. When schools ignore mental health problems like this, students suffer both in the classroom and in their emotional well-being. Today, we'll look at why mental health needs are real and urgent. I'll explain why excusing mental health days is an effective research-supported solution. I'll show how schools and students benefit when mental health is treated the same as physical health. Let's dive right in. Students today face a mental health crisis that schools cannot ignore. A study in the Journal of Adolescent Health found that high levels of stress and anxiety make it harder for students to focus, remember information, and perform well in school. The American Psychological Association reports that many teens now experience anxiety levels similar to those seen in adults who are being treated clinically. However, most schools only excuse absences when a student has a physical illness. This sends the message that mental health problems do not matter as much, which is simply not true. When schools fail to support students' mental health, they increase the chances of burnout, more unexcused absences, and long-term emotional struggles. Excusing mental health days is a proven, realistic, and beneficial policy. States like Oregon and Utah already allow excused mental health days, and early data shows improved attendance and lower stress. In a peer-reviewed study from Pediatrics, the Lawrence and Marquise in 2021, research found that students who had access to mental health accommodations were more likely to seek help early and maintain academic engagement. Mental health days give students time to rest, regulate emotions, seek counseling, or recover from burnout, just like sick days for physical health. Here's what the future could look like if we do adopt this policy. Imagine a school where students can take a mental health day before their stress becomes overwhelming. Counselors would be able to help earlier. Teachers would see students coming to class with better focus and fewer emotional breakdowns. Students would return to school feeling refreshed instead of drained. But if schools continue to ignore mental health needs, we will see more burnout, more unexcused absences, more depression, more students failing classes. The CDC warns that when mental health needs are ignored, students are more likely to face serious problems like substance abuse and academic struggles. Schools must update their attendance policy to specifically list mental health days as excused absences. They should also train teachers and staff on why these days matter and help parents and students understand how to use them responsibly. Students should speak up for their needs, and parents should support the policy. The school board should approve it as soon as possible. To wrap things up, Today we talked about how the serious health crisis students are facing, how excused mental health days offer helpful solutions, and how this change can lead to better well-being and stronger academic successes. Mental health is just as real and important as physical health. Research clearly shows that allowing excused mental health days helps students stay healthier, calmer, and more prepared to learn. If we want students to be healthy and focused and truly ready for the future, we must start by supporting their mental health. No student should have to pretend that they're okay just to avoid punishment for taking care of themselves. Thank you.